Hey, Isaac here. This piece of Python code in front of me doesn't work. But why? So, what do we see here? So first off, this is a very simplified macro that's made by me. So here we can see a function that's defined to start the macro. To print macro is running using a for loop using the variable repeat, which is collected through this prompt down here. So theoretically, for whatever I put in repeat, it should print out macro is running for that similar amount of times, right? Well, actually, not quite. Let's take a further look into the code. Let's take a look at how the variable repeat is being taken from the input. So here you see we use a input prompt to get the variable repeat through the user. So what it's doing here, it takes whatever the user inputs and it stores it inside repeat. But for some reason our for loop isn't processing this. Why? So here's a really quick rule of thumb to figure out what's wrong. So as we see, the input block will always store something inside the variable as a string value, and a for loop, the range part, it needs to be a integer so it can count the steps properly. So this is where our conflict is. We have our input storing the value inside our variable as a string. However, our for loop needs an integer, a number, not a string of words. So there's a really easy fix to this. So we just need to convert the string stored in repeat so we can use it as an integer inside the range in for loop so it doesn't jam. So what we're gonna do is make a new variable called repeat int to stand for integer, and then we're gonna use a handy function called int. So what this does, when you put a variable in it, it's gonna take it and it's gonna convert it, the string variable, into an integer variable. Now if we just simply update our variables here and p int here, it should work properly. So now if we just boot up the terminal and run it, say free, and there we go. It correctly prints macro is running 3 times. So the key takeaway of this video is that, remember, do not mess up your strings and integers. So this isn't just with for loops and a input. So as long as you need to convert a string into an integer to use, remember to use the int function. Alright, that's it. Bye.